During a family meeting in my living room, my parents announced, "The house belongs to your sister now," but my reaction changed everything. The afternoon sun poured through the tall windows of Ryan Carter's new home, a modern two-story house he had spent 3 long years designing, financing, and building with his own hands. Every inch of it told his story. The marble countertops he'd installed one weekend after 14-hour workdays, the custom bookshelf filled with manuals and framed photos, the scent of cedar from the stairs he had polished himself. For Ryan, this wasn't just a house. It was proof that sacrifice meant something. Late nights, missed birthdays, years of saving, and today it was supposed to be the reward for all of it. His parents hadn't seen the finished home yet, and his younger sister Emily had just returned from studying abroad. He'd planned this dinner as a warm family reunion, laughter, pride, maybe even a rare moment of appreciation. He wanted his parents to look at what he'd built and finally see their son not as the quiet, overworking engineer, but as someone who made it. The table was set beautifully: roasted chicken, his mother's favorite salad, Emily's favorite pasta, and a bottle of aged wine his father always talked about. The golden light filled the room, bouncing off glassware and smiles. But underneath it all, something felt off. His father avoided eye contact. His mother's smile seemed forced. Emily, fidgeting with her napkin, kept glancing between them. Ryan noticed, but chose to ignore it. "It's good to have you all here," he said, pouring wine. "Feels like old times." His mother's eyes softened briefly. "You've done well, Ryan. The house is beautiful." "Thanks," he said quietly. "It means a lot coming from you." Then came the pause. That long, uncertain silence that hung over the table like a storm waiting to break. His mother cleared her throat. "Ryan, your father and I have been talking about something important." Ryan smiled, setting down his glass. "Sure, what's going on?" His father looked uneasy, fingers tightening around his fork. Then he exhaled slowly, avoiding his son's eyes. "We've decided," he began, "that this house, the one you built, will go to Emily." The clinking of utensils stopped. The hum of the refrigerator became the only sound in the room. Ryan blinked, uncertain he'd heard correctly. "I'm sorry?" His mother spoke quickly, almost rehearsed. "It makes sense, sweetheart. You're single, you travel so much for work, and Emily just got engaged. She'll need a stable place to start her family." Emily's eyes darted to him nervously. "It wasn't my idea, Ryan. They just think it's fair." Ryan's lips curved slightly, though there was no humor in it. "Fair," he repeated quietly. "You think it's fair that the house I worked, saved, and built from nothing should go to someone who's never made a mortgage payment in her life?" His father's tone shifted, firm, almost dismissive. "You're a man, Ryan. You'll build another one. You've always been capable. Emily's not." Ryan leaned back, studying their faces. The same faces he had worked his entire life to make proud. His mother's gaze was sympathetic, his father's stern, Emily's uncertain. "You're just giving it away?" he asked softly. His mother reached across the table, her voice low and soothing. "It's all in the family, honey. You'll understand one day. We're not taking it from you. We're just keeping it where it belongs." Ryan's pulse slowed. His face was calm, unreadable. Then, almost too quietly, he said, "You're right. It's all in the family." They relaxed instantly. His father nodded approvingly. Emily even smiled in relief, as if the tension had vanished. But it hadn't. It had only sharpened. Ryan stood, collected the plates from the table, and smiled politely. "Excuse me for a moment. I just remembered something I need to handle." He walked to his office, each step measured. When he closed the door behind him, the quiet was thick, electric. On his desk sat a blue folder. Title deed, Carter Residence. The ink on it was barely a year old. His name, bold and clear, across the top. He opened his laptop, fingers steady as he typed. The hum of the computer filled the silence while outside faint laughter returned. His family, relieved that he'd agreed. But Ryan wasn't angry. He wasn't even surprised, just awake. People like his parents and Emily never understood boundaries. They mistook kindness for compliance, sacrifice for weakness. He smiled faintly as the screen lit up with his property management system. Then he clicked one simple button, the beginning of a quiet storm. Downstairs, his family laughed again, unaware that by midnight, the home they were so ready to give away would no longer be theirs to give. And Ryan Carter, for the first time in years, felt perfectly at peace. The next morning, sunlight spilled softly across the kitchen counters. The scent of freshly brewed coffee filled the air, mingling with the faint hum of the refrigerator. Ryan stood by the window, stirring his mug, watching the movers across the street unload furniture for another home, a reminder that people and possessions were always moving on. Behind him, Emily came downstairs barefoot, scrolling through her phone, humming some pop song. "Morning," she chirped. "Big day. Mom and Dad will be here later to finalize the transfer." She opened the fridge and poured herself orange juice. "I was thinking I'll turn your old office into my art studio. It's got the best light." Ryan turned, calm as ever. "That sounds creative," he said, taking a slow sip of coffee. She frowned slightly. "You're really not mad?" He smiled faintly. "No, actually, I've been thinking about how right everyone was." Her shoulders relaxed. Relief washed across her face. "See? I told Mom you'd understand. You always do." "I do," Ryan replied quietly. "In fact, I understand better than ever." Before she could ask what he meant, he checked his watch. "You might want to freshen up before they get here." "It's going to be a big afternoon," Emily beamed, entirely missing the undercurrent in his tone. "You're the best, Rye." He didn't reply. He just kept stirring his coffee long after she left the room. By noon, the sound of a car engine broke the stillness outside. His parents arrived, cheerful and confident, as if everything had already been decided. His father clapped him on the back, smiling broadly. "We knew you'd see reason, son. This is the right thing to do, for the family." Ryan simply nodded. "Come in, let's sit. There's something I'd like to show you first." The living room was spotless, almost too spotless, as if it were being prepared for someone else. On the table sat a single brown envelope. Ryan placed it in front of them. "Before we toast to Emily's new beginning, there's just one formality left." His father frowned. "What's this?" Ryan's tone was calm, polite. "The deed." "But not for this house, for the new one." Emily blinked. "New one?" Ryan leaned back, his gaze steady. "I sold this property last night." The words dropped like a stone into a still pond. Silence rippled outward. His mother's jaw fell open. "You what?" "I sold it," Ryan repeated evenly. "Signed the papers just before midnight. The buyer's taking possession next week." Emily's voice cracked. "You can't do that. They said the house was mine." He met her gaze, expression almost kind. "Correction, that was mine. And I'm free to do whatever I choose with something I built, paid for, and maintained." His father's voice rose, anger replacing shock. "You're being spiteful, Ryan." Ryan leaned forward, resting his hands on the table. "No, I'm being fair. You tried to decide the fate of something you never earned. So I made a decision of my own. I'm letting it go, before any of you mistake my generosity for permission." His mother's voice trembled. "But where will we stay when we visit? This was supposed to be our family home." Ryan's lips curved faintly. "Hotels are comfortable. You always preferred those anyway." Emily stood, eyes wide, voice shaking. "You ruined everything. How could you do this to your own family?" He looked at her for a long moment, then said quietly, "Family doesn't take, it shares. You can't demand respect for something you didn't build, Emily. But if you ever want to create something that's yours, I'll help you. That's what real family does." The silence that followed wasn't the angry kind. It was heavier, the weight of realization settling over the room. His father's shoulders slumped first, pride giving way to something like regret. His mother dabbed her eyes. Emily stood motionless, the truth cutting deeper than any lecture could. Ryan walked them to the door. Outside, a truck idled quietly. The movers he'd hired that morning were already unfastening the brass plate from the gate. Carter Residence. His father turned once more, bitterness softening into disbelief. "Where will you go now?" Ryan looked at the open road, sunlight flashing across his car keys. "Forward," he said simply. "That's where builders go." That evening, as the last golden light faded, Ryan stood alone in the empty living room. The walls echoed faintly, stripped of furniture and noise. For the first time, the house didn't feel like a symbol. It felt like a chapter, one he was finally ready to close. He wasn't angry, not even sad, just free. Because sometimes walking away isn't about losing. It's about reminding others what earned really means. He turned off the lights, stepped outside and locked the door behind him, not as an ending, but as a beginning only. He had the right to write. Never let guilt or bloodlines erase your worth. Those who build from nothing know ownership isn't given. It's earned, defended, and released only on your terms.